Call the City of Benton Harbor Commission meeting to order, May 15, 2023. We'd like to begin with an invocation. Prayer will be said by Commissioner it's been brought to my attention that we have Minister Nesbitt, Deacon. I need your prayer. You can do the invocation, followed by the pledge of allegiance with Commissioner Singleton.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we come once again giving you thanks, Heavenly Father, for another day. Thank you, Jesus, for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're going to do. We just ask you, Heavenly Father, to continue blessing around all of us, Lord. Let everything that be said, things that we can hear, we can see, we can do. Let it be improved and let it help this city, Lord. And let everybody come together as one. That's what you asked for. We want to see that, Lord, right at this meeting, Lord. We just ask you in your name, if it's your will. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yield to the city clerk.
Commissioner Adams?
Present.
Commissioner Clark Griffin? Commissioner Edwards?
Present.
Commissioner Henderson? Present. Commissioner Henry? Commissioner Isom?
Present.
Commissioner Singleton?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats? Mayor Mohammed?
Present.
You have a quorum.
This brings us to the approval of minutes May 1, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams and is supported by Commissioner Henderson, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to approval of accounts payable listings. Their motion for approval of accounts payable
Motion
listings.
to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson and is supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there discussion? Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the citizens' comments. You do have a 3-minute maximum per speaker. You can register with the city clerk, and she will call you accordingly. Madam Clerk.
Bruce? But you're right.
Close.
But height. No cemetery leaves, no anything negative about the cemetery, but I do want to talk about the cemetery. I do encourage you to go out. You approve the expenditure of funds from the city. Just occasionally go out and take a look, make sure that things are being done. That's all I encourage you to do. Memorial Day, that's our most solemn of holidays. I try not to even call it a holiday, but it's a day we honor those that gave their life serving in our nation's military. It originally was May 30. It got moved to one of the Monday holidays. So this year it's the 29th. The first Memorial Day service in the city of Benton Harbor that I can find was in 1886. The Grand Army of the Republic, the veterans from the Union Army, conducted a ceremony at Morton Cemetery. Over the years, they added Crystal Springs. The last one that I can find that took place, based on newspapers and so forth, was 1974. This was the newspaper clipping. As you can see, there was quite a turnout. Seated on the side here are Gold Star mothers women who had lost a son or a daughter serving in the military. So as I've been trying to work with the city to find out what I can do to help, what I can do to improve the cemetery, how we can work at making sure it looks better than what it has. My wife and I are doing the research on the veterans that are buried on the cross out there. It kind of just dawned on us that maybe we should be doing more. I gave each of you one of these. It's a little history of Memorial Day from the beginning. It includes Benton Harbor history. It includes the origins of Memorial Day as we know it, which was created in 1868. History of the Benton Harbor cemeteries, and then some of the veterans memorials in Crystal Springs. My wife and I on the back put a program. We're going to be there at 10 o'clock on Monday, the 29th. You're welcome to come on out. I'm going to post it in Facebook and invite other people to join us. So I encourage you, if you have some time, come on out 10 o'clock. We'll have a little history lesson and honor the dead. Thank you.
Lee Reed.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Mark your calendars. Thursday, June the 1st at 1 o'clock, the Planning Commission will have a special meeting to consider the application for a special use permit and a site plan review for 133 West Main Street, the new building for the Center for Better Health. Then Tuesday, June the 6th at 5:30 for our quarterly meeting, we're going to have a master plan update. Mr. Paul Lippens from McKenna, our consultant for the master plan, will be there to give us an update and let us know where we stand at this time. Also, we have 2 vacancies on the Planning Commission. So if you know anybody who wishes to come out and serve, please forward their application. We have several applications right here on the desk, so if you all want to take some of them with you. Thank you.
Michael Hoy.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, guest. I'm here to file a citizen's complaint. This is my official citizen's complaint. Seeing that we do have full council here, the clerk, the attorney, and other officials. This is against the 4th Ward Commissioner, Ethel Clark Griffin. On March 1st, she attacked Trenton Bowens here in the parking lot and here in the chambers. It's on video. It has been shared amongst the video, amongst social media. On May 3rd, she also in these chambers attacked Audrey Peoples, a citizen in our community. On May 10th, she also here in these chambers attacked Jerry Edwards, Commissioner Jerry Edwards. This is not the first time. This is actually the second time for this. Reviewing the City Commissioner's Code of Conduct and Ethics, reading through here, you'll see the first thing it calls is for respect. Also, while demonstrating respect, kindness, consideration, and courtesy to others, serving as a model of leadership and civility within the community. As you go over to page 8, practice civility and decorum in discussions and debate. This does not allow, however, commissioner members to be belligerent, personal, impertinent, slanderous, threatening, abusive, or disregarding comments. No shouting or physical actions that could be construed as threatening will be tolerated. On page 9, it says, even private conversations can have public precedence. Even parking lot debates will be watched. Go to page 12. No personal attacks of any kind under any circumstances. When you go back to the behaviors, this is what it says for proper conduct is not. This is what it is not. Showing antagonistic or hostility, deliberate lying or misleading, speaking recklessly, spreading rumors, stirring up bad feelings, acting as a self-righteous person in a manner. Mayor Marcus Muhammad, I request of you to review how you, the mayor of the city, plays a role in this. On page 17, city commission members who initiate and repeat and do not properly follow the conduct may be reprimanded or formally censored by the commission. Page 17, it is the responsibility of the mayor to initiate action if the commission members' behaviors are not warranted, they can be sanctioned. I ask that this goes to the legislative committee. I ask that it to be reviewed. All these three parties, Trenton Bowens, Audrey Peoples, and Jerry Edwards, have given me permission to speak on their behalf. I'm speaking as Michael Hoy, a citizen of this community. This needs to be reviewed. Thank you.
Spencer Nesbitt.
Good evening. Spencer Nesbitt. I'd just like to say the water was repaired on Colfax and Cross, and they did a great job on it. It is repaired. And I also like to say that I agree with the things that the gentleman had said about the code of ethics. Those things need to be done, and we need to respect each other. I don't know anything about the attacks or anything about that, but I can simply say that I can see it, hear it, and hear. You know, statements have been made, you know, things like mayor's friends. Yes, I'm a mayor's friend. I support the mayor. That's my business, whoever I want to support. And if I feel that he or she or whoever is doing a great job, I'm going to do that. No one is going to stop me with words or nothing else from stopping me from doing what I feel that I want to do. Those are my things, and I'm going to do that. So I'm not afraid of that. But Mayor, I'm going to say this again. I'm supporting you. I hear a lot of things on the outside from people that don't even live in the city that are throwing stones at people that doesn't make sense, you know. So yes, if I support you, I support some of you up there. I'm gonna support some back here if I want to, but I'm gonna do that because that's my prerogative to do whatever I feel that I want to do. Thank you.
Emma Kennard.
Good evening, everyone. Myself as a female has worked in this community, supported this community and done the very best that I can, and has really came to each of you all and tried to work with you. And every one of you can say that I have. But I will not stand here and see this young lady male bashed. I've seen some of the things that she has gone through, and I'm not going to stand for it. I'm a matriarch, I guess, of the community. I'm probably older than anyone else, and I've seen a lot that has happened. And I've seen her being disrespected. So nobody says anything on the part of her being disrespected. We should all work together. Yes, we should. But when we don't, we do not allow one to jump on just a young female. She's doing all she can in her area where she is a commissioner. She's went over there and did something that none of the commissioners before her. She's worked hard, cleaned, pushed, pulled, and did everything that she knows she could do to uphold the integrity of Benton Harbor. You've never seen her drinking out on the street or even suggesting that she has a habit where they can make us look bad. So I commend her. I love this young lady, and I will not stand and let her stand alone and be male bashed because they never see when she's attacked from the other side. And I'm not going to stand to see that for her. I love her. Miss Kennard has got your back.
Mr. Duncan.
I chose to be last, but it's okay. It's people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. That should end that mess that they brought in here on top of you guys. If we're gonna check everybody, let's do that. Don't check no one individual. Check everybody. Check your mouth, check your attitude, check your habits, because your habits getting past you. The citizens are on the right path now. We need no outside interference, and I should say no outside interference. We've come too far to let anything get in our way. Not even you guys getting in your own damn way. Citizens don't approve of that or this either. So now it's a good time to check ourselves before they wreck ourselves. Thank you.
No more comments.
This sister here wanted to speak.
Hello, I'm Kenesha Whitelow Perry. I've been around Bell Harbor for years, and I'm doing an event on Memorial Day for all the gun violence victims. I'm not just doing it for Ben Harbor, though. I have been everywhere. I have went to South Bend, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, because just like they say, crime is everywhere, and I understand that. I just see all of you guys, so now I know that I can reach out to you as well. But it's for the mothers, because I have lost so many family members, so many friends, and I have children. And I got all of the mothers. I've talked to 67 families in Ben Harbor and South Bend, and we will be marching from Ben Harbor High School to Sunny Spot on Memorial Day. It's nothing but a couple of hours of your time just to show these mothers that we are there for them. But this is not the only year I would like to do this. I want this to be an annual thing, because these families grieve every year and they feel that they are not thought about, or their kids are just gone. Some kids have done wrong, and I'm not here to judge them. I just want to show their mothers support and be there for their family. And I just would like everybody to come out, if you're able, just to give a couple of hours and just love on each other, and let's show each other support. And that's all. Thank
What's
you.
the time?
3 to 5 on Memorial Day. Yes, sir.
And it's from Ben Harbor High School.
To Sunny Spot. And yes, Pastor Maurice McAfee is going to be there. He's going to say a prayer for the families. I've talked to some from way back. I mean, it's not that it's just now happening. It's been happening. And I feel like if we could find something for the kids to do, give them some good role models, just anything to get them off the street and get the guns out of their hands. So I just want to love on each other and just support each other. And that's all I want to do.
Could you please coordinate with the Public Safety Department?
Yes, I talked to Chief McGinnis. Yes, I have, sir. Yes, I have.
You have any flyers?
Yes, I posted it on Facebook, and I have made it social. I call ABC 57 and the Herald Palladium.
Do you have any way we can post in City Hall?
Yes, I do. It's on my phone, though. I didn't print any out because I didn't think about it, but
Okay.
I will
And you
bring
can
one.
Email it to the city clerk.
Yes, sir, I will. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
No more comments.
We'd like to thank everyone for the public participation. It's very important that the public express themselves and give voice to the local government. This brings us to the public hearing, which I'd like to open up. Drinking water system improvements project plan. I'd like to yield to the city manager, who will introduce our city engineer.
Jason, it's all you. Madam Clerk? Good evening, commissioners, city council, Mr. Mohammed. My name is Jason Markwart, project engineer with Marsh, and I'd like to go over the DWSRF funding for potentially the city to pursue. This is a very similar presentation as we did a month ago for the CWSRF funding for the sanitary sewer funding. So I'll go over a lot of this stuff. Some of this stuff is going to be necessary as part of the public hearing comments or public hearing process. But I'll go through this. It's going to be very similar, like I said, since the presentation from last month, but this is all aimed at water funding. So tonight we're going to go through the purpose of the presentation, a little bit of the project background, the need of the project, the analysis of alternatives, what would happen in the environmental review process, also the projected impact to user charges if pursuing this funding, our anticipated project schedule, and then also the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Project background: the city owns and operates the water system that we all have been chatting about, discussing in years past, and as the city owns the water mains, now the curb stops and the water services, the hydrants, the water plant, they own all that within the system of City of Benton Harbor water system. Most of that is aging. Approximately 76% of the distribution system is over 50% old or 50 years old. And many distribution system assets are beyond its useful life. Except for the water services, as they were just checked and changed out. A lot of the projects that have been focused here are undersized water mains for need. So old 4-inch lines within the city's residential streets is what a lot of the focus is on this. I will say too that this funding package that is being pursued by the city is a lot of projects that have been listed on previous project plans. This and the funding on these projects are projects that have not been funded recently with the new ARPA dollars that the city is receiving through the lead service work and the amendment that was recently accepted by the city to do $26 million of additional water work, including distribution improvement projects and improvements to the water plant. So this focuses on the second part of that list that just didn't make the first round of funding that the state has provided for the City of Benton Harbor. Population projections. Benton Harbor Water System serves 2,880 metered water customers. Approximately it covers 99,103 people, and that's according to the 2020 census. The 2021 census estimate is not fully published, but it is estimated at 8,982 people. We got some information from the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, generally saying that the population is going to stabilize around 10,000 people over the next 20 years. Need for the project: aging infrastructure. 76% of the water main pipes are more than 50 years old. So these are ones that we've identified as part of potential funded projects that could be done within this funding strategy. The city just completed a water reliability study that was just passed along to the state of Michigan. It also indicated high levels of water loss in the system. Water plant needs. These are some of the projects that were identified that didn't make that initial cut of funding from last year. This would include the intake structure, chemical feed improvements, actual intake in Lake Michigan, the raw water screen improvements, high service pumping improvements, the pond, if you have seen it adjacent to the water plant, is the city's alum sludge pond for overflows. There's some improvements that need to happen to that. Abandoning filters 1 through 4 is something that was identified as part of the sanitary sewer survey that the city received for the water plant, and then also improving of the site fencing around the water plant. Anytime when you do an SRF state revolving fund project, there's some objectives. You want to provide, rehabilitate, and repair. Maybe you're covering some violation notices that the city has been under purview to complete with Eagle. You always want to minimize project costs, and you want to also minimize the environmental impact. So anything that really impacts the environment is something that you would identify as part of potential for SRF funding. So the alternatives that were reviewed and looked at, one of them is no action. So pursuing no funding and keeping everything as is something that they always ask the state of Michigan to have the city look at. It's the other one is always the regional alternative, consolidating your system into a regional system with other community partners. And then the last one would be alternative 3, replace maybe just critical infrastructure. This is something that the city has pursued in the past, where similar to replacing the water mains and sanitary sewers on Pipestone, Highland, Territorial, so those type projects. Alternatives 1, no action, really. No really benefit there. There would be no construction project. It does not rehabilitate any of the water mains that are identified in the plan. It doesn't do those improvements to the water plant. It really doesn't meet the project objectives, and it doesn't address those violation items that's listed on that sanitary sewer survey from Eagle. Regional. So like I said, it's required to review as part of the SR program. Really does not meet the project objectives. Regionalization of the water plant and system is a whole nother program. But what it doesn't do is the city of Benton Harbor still has all those distribution mains that are property of the city. So it really doesn't meet project objectives by just putting it out as a regionalization of the water system. So the third is one that has been selected as part of this SRF project plan update, and it looks to replace some critical infrastructure. I'm going to read those real quick. These are the streets that we have identified as these 4-inch mains that have met its useful life. Valving and hydrants would be replaced at all these locations: Ohio, Thayer, Pleasant Street, Pavone Water Main, Jennings, Bishop, and Union. I do have a slide that shows the map, a map that shows these locations. The Plummer Court area water main is what we called it. Niles area water main, the Klein area water main, and then the water plant improvements that I previously mentioned. Right now, as all those in play, that's an ask of $28.3 million, as our estimates have been prepared in the report. There's a kind of a snapshot of the locations of the distribution system improvements. You're at about a $14 million split from all the distribution improvements in the city, and along with the water treatment plant projects. But you can see that Jennings, Bishop, and Union are kind of all listed there, north-south towards the bottom half of the map. And then also the Plummer, Niles, Klein, and Pavone Street water improvements just north of Empire there. And then the Ohio, Pleasant, and Thayer water main just off of Pipestone is the projects that were identified as part of this project plan. Recommended alternative, I think I jumped ahead, but it is really the only alternative that meets the project objectives. Like I said, the city still owns and maintains and operates those distribution mains and valving and hydrants in those locations, and along with owning and operating the water plant. There isn't really any anticipated long-term environmental impacts due to the project. So You would have short term for like detours, construction traffic, soil erosion issues that we would handle, or the city would handle throughout the construction process. What really happens on that alternative when you're looking for environmental impacts is if you were going to build a new sanitary sewer lagoon, or you were going to end up building a new water plant. There's some environmental impacts that happen on those, but not really with inside the four walls of the water plant, if you will, and not really huge environmental impacts when it comes to doing replacement of those mains. It's pretty kind of a standard construction project where the excavation or the road would be removed, the utilities would be replaced, and then the road surface would be resurfaced. So the user charge summary, very similar program that was kind of attached to the last month's sanitary sewer service. As part of the SRF funding with Eagle this year, we anticipate a lot of grant funds coming through the program. We don't know exactly what the grant funds would be, but we have to submit the project plan. The city does qualify as significantly overburdened. That does help out quite a bit of the funding potentially that the city could receive as grant versus loan. There is a scoring process that happens on these plans. A lot of communities put through it, so you actually get additional 20 points for being significantly overburdened. Also allows for any low interest rates if the city was to enter a loan agreement with the state of Michigan. We put this table on here just for kind of order of magnitude. If the city was pursuing the $28 million altogether and the state didn't come back with any grant funds, it would actually be a user charge of $36, just under $36 per user. An increase with a 50% grant would be just under 18. And then if 80% of it was grant and 20% of it was loan, then you're just over $7.20 or $7.19 per month for users to pay for these improvements. Anticipated project schedule. So that 2026 magic timeframe is something that everybody should be aware of. But the way the SRF project works is the city signs off, adopts this project plan, sends it to the state of Michigan for final. They go through a scoring criteria, and after we submit it in June, the state would come back and let you know if the city would be offered a loan or grant option in this fall. Moving forward from there would be the city would adopt the loan structure or the grant that the state would provide. Preliminary design would have to start right away, just with that 2026 timeframe expected. So that would happen, first year we have listed as February. You would submit all your project designs and estimates to the state to review and to approve all those improvements that I listed earlier in the presentation. We'd be looking at bidding these improvements as part of this project next year in August. That would be the soonest that would probably be able to do so, just based on the timing from the state of Michigan. An SRF loan closing would be next year on September 24th or September 2024. And then shortly after that, very similar to what we did in the program from Pipestone, Highland, and Territorial. Those projects, if you recall, they kind of started right at the end of the season and kind of went through the winter. This program is over 2 seasons, so the construction for everything would have to be completed by November of 2026. So there was a lot there, but very similar, like I said, to the program that was brought up last month for sanitary. Really, it's the way for the city to request this type of funding from the state of Michigan to improve the water system. If you do have any questions, just please state your name, and we'll get them recorded on the public record. As part of the final public project plan submittal, we would provide a copy of your guys' YouTube clip, and that YouTube video that would be in accordance with Eagle requirements.
I'd like to open the portion of the hearing up for public responses, questions, or comments for the record. Going once.
Somebody should be saying something. I'll say, I'll ask a question. Didn't you know all of this a long time ago?
The question is directed.
I'm looking right at you. Didn't we know this a long time ago, Mr. Mayor?
Well, if you listen or go back and listen. to
I
the
did
project,
listen, I listened to
A
him.
lot of these projects are things that we've already cited as trouble spots, areas that need to be replaced.
Okay,
And let me finish. And now this is an opportunity for us to procure the funding to address projects that have been sitting on the shelf for years, but us not having the resources and the funding to actually do the projects. So some of them are older, some of them we knew about, some of them we found out through recent studies.
is it still my turn?
I thought you was asking a question.
Yeah, I did. I would like to ask two. Why now?
Well, I took some notes and it says here 76% of the distribution system is over 50 years old. Many distribution system assets are beyond their useful life. Many of our water mains, which are connected to our fire hydrants, are undersized, which impacts the pressure when the water is coming through and how it impacts coming from the hydrant. So it's a lot of things that Benton Harbor has to replace, has to repair. A lot of these things have been pushed, as one commissioner would say, can kick down the road, but we just happen to be the group that has to say enough is enough. We have to prepare, we have to do it now. Otherwise, they become safety hazards, safety issues, as we have seen.
Okay. I don't think we have very many friends if we have all of this going on for all of these years and it not be taken care of. I think of old people that have passed, have paid taxes and this went all over the place other than on the things we need. I hope we're at the end of that point right now. I didn't really hear what you guys said you were going to do about it, but I'll wait and ask my last question then. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other residents?
Yes, Your Honor. Michael Hoy. I had to step out of the room. I think it was slide number 5. It showed percentages if there was a grant and percentages. One was at, I think, 37.
This
Yes.
this one here?
35, yes.
Mhm.
For how many years is each one of those possible?
Yep, that's good. That's a good question.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So that is projected over 40 years. The normal SRF program is a 30-year process, but being significantly overburdened, you have the option of carrying it over 40 years.
Well, I'll wait. Any other from the
Yes.
residents audience?
Who do I direct, to you or to the mayor? Which do I direct my question?
You can direct it to me and then I'll deflect it, or if I can.
Okay, I
provide
just
you
want to know the
information.
order, proper order thing. What I'd like to know he was identifying different areas that would be under this 28 point so many.
Yeah, 0.3.
Yes. I'd like to know that there's other places that I've seen, even there at May Street, where the drains have collapsed. And this is supposed to be a part of the environmental part, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So what the SRF program would want to do is make sure that we, on a specific project location, that we don't, as part of the construction, just blindly put soil or something into that storm sewer system. But it would not impact a project that, or a location that isn't as part of this project plan.
Okay, the reason I'm asking, why wouldn't this be a part of the environmental thing? Because there's a lot of vegetation that grows out of those drains,
Mhm.
which is a part of the environmental thing. We have sometimes even got kittens that has fallen in those drains and things like that. So I want to know that right there at May, right before you get to May Street store, you all address the other side of the street, but then there's a collapsed drain on the opposite side of the street. And so I was just wondering, you all fixed that side, why wasn't that side addressed also? And there's other drains that are clogged with vegetation.
I will comment as that the project that is on the consent agenda for the local streets resurfacing, there is a program in there to replace catch basin covers and do some cleaning of those specific drains. So that project is actually ready to go this year and we don't have to wait for this one to come through.
Thank you.
Yep.
That being said, we'd like to open it up for the panel. The chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. The 28.3 million that will be responsible for in bonds, you talked about the increases. So without any of those grant fundings, but hopefully based on our qualifications or based on how we are considered, the increase should be about just that 7%. But is there a guarantee that will be that percentage?
There is no guarantee at this point. So this is just the first step for the city to prepare and publish this project plan to submit to Eagle. You will still come back and you'll have to sign a resolution to adopt any type of loan. So those terms and really those details will be provided at the time. So the city would be able to understand how much they are funded. And also, that $28 million could come. You could request a lot less too, depending on the total number of. But we wanted to go in with as much as we possibly could, considering that the city might get quite a bit of it grant funded. So that's kind of why we had put it. And just remember, this is the city already has received $26 million, $5 or $6 million for the water plant, and $21 million for improvements, just like I mentioned here. So these are the projects on the list that aren't on that. So you're gonna see a lot of action regardless if you move forward with this funding or not. The state did put together a lot of dollars as part of their SRF program, as part of the ARPA funds that the city could. So you still have to adopt the user rate change or any of the actual final loan documents if that's what it comes to.
And what was the interest rate?
I'm not exactly sure. I remember Elaine saying it was from last month. It was a couple percent, but I don't know it specifically.
7, 8, 9.
Not that much.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seeds.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. My question is, I seen Plummer Street on there, and I was trying to figure out how many houses are still yet on Plummer Street, and what are we trying to, is it the fire hydrants that we're trying to correct over there? Is there other areas that we can switch some? Or can some of these streets change to more heavily populated areas that we're servicing? Or cap that and then run lines instead of trying to run made.
That's a good point, because these projects were identified as part of the studies that the city adopted a few years back. So the state of Michigan would allow us to divert or change a request amendment or to that nature. The only troublesome part of that is when we do go put these in there, the state does an environmental assessment of these locations. So let's say Plummer Street, we said, hey, you know what? There's not many users on it. We want to use the money that's allocated for Plummer Street on a different street. That process can be done through amended program. What it might look like is, let's say everything's funded through the fall of this year, and then we want to say, well, we don't want to do Plummer Street anymore. I might come back about this time next year and have a very smaller presentation that says, hey, this is the reason why this wasn't chosen. And then they would get adopted and move towards Eagle. But those options are there because there's a lot of work happening all at once.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited because we got that letter of intent in.
Mhm.
Thank you. For several years now, I've been on these calls with an organization that actually works with other communities. Prominently Black communities that are underserved for federal funds. And what they do, they take care of business that we can't, like lobby our lawmakers up in Washington for these funds. And I would invite anybody that wants to jump on these calls. We're about to have a convening. We chose Benton Harbor this year for the national convening. I don't know where yet, but everybody will have an opportunity to meet these fabulous people that work for all of us. The gentleman, I forgot his name, there's going to be another meeting prior to, we meet every month. And the gentleman from the EPA will be following this money. But I'm sure you probably already know that. We're demanding it. We're demanding that the monies work for the people within our communities. Been a lot of scratching our nails on, bleeding, begging to get this type of funding in our communities, and it's finally here. And I'm just hoping that you will do the best you can at making the right decision when it comes to bonds, whether it's a loan, refinancing for the largest amount of years, the most amount, even more than 28 million, because that's a possibility too. It's a lot. And I think we have a call in the morning. I'm going to learn more of what's going on. And I'm just excited that we are where we are and getting something done. I think when I first ran for office in 2011, that a lot of us were talking about the 100-year-old infrastructure. And we don't have money. We can't do anything without funding. The state was holding back revenue shares. Potholes are turning into craters. But we have slowly but surely been taking care of business. And now that our nails are healing from all the scratching and the money is coming through, we just got to serve the people right and as best as we can as being good stewards of the monies that we're allotted. Thank you. Wait, there was more. I had a question about Jennings. Jennings and Bishop, you mentioned. Is there a large amount of the street that will be removed? It's beautiful over there. It's nice. In the street, a lot of infrastructural work went on and street surfacing. So
That's got to be looked at. When you guys accelerated your resurfacing program a couple of years ago, it wasn't taking the water main in account. So now you do have this funding. It would get resurfaced. A lot of new curbs, a lot of new sidewalks as part of this. So just not the street resurfaced.
okay,
You'd have, yeah.
so we are looking at what I've been saying for years now. We're going to do the infrastructure and not just put a Band-Aid on something, but we're gonna fix it underneath, then do the street.
Yep.
Complete.
Yep, that's the goal. Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner, Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. $28.3 million. That means we're gonna get some employment out of this, Section 3, or 25% of the subcontracting work. I'm looking for Section 3. We have a very limited selection of Black contractors. So, I mean, we're gonna make some Black contractors very rich. But we need to make people rich too. So if you can put Section 3 in, which allows us training and all sorts of good benefits, it's something I would like to see, Section 3. Over the years, I've heard about high water loss. I've heard citizens talk about water running in the streets. Just, is this project going to stop all of those water leaks?
Not all of them. Only the ones identified in those streets. So we have been improving those in the last couple of years with some of the funding that the city has received. So, you have seen in the past where maybe a valve has been leaking at the surface. So some of the funding that the city has received, we've repaired them maybe quicker than in the past. But if any of the water main is leaking between the joints of the water main, the existing water main, these would be addressed as part of those projects on the streets. This funding would not be available to do a standalone hydrant replacement or a standalone valve replacement. There are other funding mechanisms that the city might have to do that. There's a lot of flexibility in some of the
I just saw
funds.
one
Yeah.
come in just for us. So we got it going on. So, I guess my next question would be, we never did look at option 4. Option 4 would be to reconnect our lines that the emergency manager sold from underneath us. So, I mean, you were charged to look at everything, and that didn't get looked at, because I think that in the long run, if we got all our customers back from the lines that were sold, we might not get St. Joe or the township or Hager Shores, but that area that was sold, our water line was sold, if we can at least look at it. We know it's a lot of money to get it back, but it's also a lot of money coming in monthly. So, I mean, I was kind of disappointed that we didn't look at that option, but I understand who's running the show. So, thank you. That's all I need to say.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Isom.
Thank y'all, Mayor. Jason, see, all these pipes are made of cast iron down there underneath the ground.
Old cast iron mains. Yep, water
I'm
mains.
sure that we got thousands of feet running right down the middle of the road. So what's the material will be changing over?
The city ordinance, or I guess specifications, requires ductile iron water main. So you see, if you're ever out there, it's a black coated water main. It usually comes in 18 to 20 foot sticks or pieces that gets placed and constructed into a trench. And then there's adapting fittings that tie on to any of the older water mains.
We'll be going straight 8 inch.
Depends on the size of the, yes, it depends on the actual size of most of the streets that I have identified there are 4 inch. they'll get upsized to 8. If it's a project that has an old 8-inch line, we might consider upsizing it to 12. The cost between the sizes is not really, it's almost negligible when it comes to these type of costs, because they're still digging the same trench and they're still putting it in. But you would have an uptick in material cost on that. But it's normally 8-inch line, and then a 6-inch line is what a hydrant lead would be to the hydrant. Some of the ones on 4-inch right now are 4-inch leads to those hydrants. Yep.
These last another 150, 200 years?
Yep. So the ductile iron is 75 to 100, yes. Yep.
Thank
you.
The chair recognizes Commissioner at Large.
There you go, Mayor. Since some of those are like over 50 years old now, and almost at the end of their life. So if we don't do nothing now, wait another 20, ever how long we wait, price tag will be most likely, inflation will be way much more.
30th over 30 million. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to say that. Yep.
And we probably won't have the opportunity that we have now with people, the nation going into the infrastructure stuff.
That's right.
And all that. So this is probably one of the best times out of all the times that we were trying to address these issues. It's probably the best time to try to get something done and get funding.
Thank you. So this is a classic, I think, example that politics without economics is symbol without substance. Where when we're sitting in positions of power, but we know that money is also power. And without it, it's very difficult to provide services and govern and transform municipalities. The last time we were looking at a project like this, our water tower was decrepit. We had just learned that the water main broke underneath over on Nolan, and the bus fell through it with children in it. Shortly thereafter, right when the water crisis broke, we had a 76-year-old main water main that carries the water from the clock up to the tower to distribute throughout the city. And the entire city was without water for 36 hours. So approving and moving forward, and I do want to commend Commissioner Adams for your relentless effort to get us to this point, to get at least a letter, because we're not. Because we're not in the same position as we were. We didn't have the opportunity to get possibly 80, 90, or even 100% grant funding, but we just had to do something. But we're in a different space and place as a municipality. And I think that by approving this, we would be going in the right direction. Of course, we don't want it to come back. We have, 25% loan like a bad used car deal. But we do want to see what kind of result we can get, because to do nothing is not an option. So if there are no other comments, we do have some other major projects to approve. At this point, I'd like to close the public hearing. This brings us to, thank you, Jason, for your work. And for you to say your last name, sir.
Jason Markward.
Thank you. This brings us to the consent calendar. there any items that should be separated, or should the consent calendar be accepted as presented? Chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Number 7, approval of 2 6-month extension of the options on Project T.
Thank you. Duly noted. I would like to separate a resolution to partner with the Sound and Sand event.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion for the approval of the
What
We'll make a
is
motion to approve.
number 5?
No, 6.
Okay.
motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent
The
calendar.
motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem Seats and is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the first separated item, which is a resolution to partner with the Sound and the Sand event. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner at Large Adams, supported by First Ward Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion?
What is sound in the same? Sand in the sound?
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Oh, okay. Listen to all of it.
That sounds the same.
No, I. Is that for this year? That's for
Yes,
this year?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
it's every other year, it's the year before the PGA? Every year, I mean, is this the group
This
that
would be the
we,
first annual.
the first annual?
The third
Yeah.
annual.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it just come
I-
back to my remembrance.
Is it, has it always been in Gene Clark?
Yes,
Yeah, but it was a little different.
yeah, their beach, yes, Gene Clark Park, yes. So my question is, it's been happening the year before, I thought it was the same, no, it wasn't the same year as the PGA, but it's the year before. And this is the third annual. So is the ask to, because I gotta be honest, I have not read this. I was listening to the recording and I think I was thrown off by something else. Anyway, I would definitely approve of this because Benton Harbor grown folks don't have much to do. And it looked like they had a nice time this past weekend, and I'm not mad whether I participate or not. Because grown folk need grown folk company, just like children need to learn how to behave themselves with one another as well. I would love to see, I mean, are we doing this for a certain amount of years, or what?
This is for, the approval is for May 10th, 2023.
Huh?
Or pardon me, the presentation was done May 10th, 2023.
Right.
The event is July 28th, pardon me, 2020.
July 28th.
Yes. That's for this year.
Okay, and I guess why was it separated? Is there a dispute about something?
So I'm gonna yield to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Tell you what, Mayor, I have no problem with the word partner. There's a problem. We support, but we gotta pull that word partner. If something happens and you're a partner, then you become liable. So I would say that we change the wording from partner to support. And support means that we do support the activity, we want the activity, but a resolution of partner I need to know some more clarification on the partnering aspect instead of supporting aspect.
Isn't this partner?
No, that's supporting.
Oh,
That's partners. That's support. They got it all.
Yeah, we can't
They
see
paying for
that.
that.
who paid for that?
Those people.
It's Ben Harbor too.
But that's
We want to
support.
state, Mayor Pro Tem has the floor.
I would ask that we just change the lingo or the verbiage to resolution to support. Whatever that means, but partnering is something totally different, governmental aspect.
I want to, just the city attorney, if you can just weigh in.
Well, Mayor, I don't know the intent behind the using of the word partnership versus support. There is, depending on how it's defined, there is definitely a difference in meaning between partnership versus support. And without knowing more, I certainly don't see any objections to using support versus partnership. But I don't know the relationship between the Sound in the Sand event in the city. I just don't have any information on it.
Citizens pardon.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large, Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Yeah, I don't see any problem with you should support. I think what they were looking for last couple of years. They started off a couple of years ago, and the event is getting bigger and bigger. It was one day event where they rent the beach, pay the I think $2,500, and they have the event, but it's getting bigger. And what they came to propose that they expected to even be probably 5 times bigger than it was last year. And it was a desire to have like a meet and greet of the participants to come in and showcase their equipment, sounds, and also for the public to come out at no charge to get a preview of what's going to be happening the day before. So what they basically was asking for is to come in on Friday, about 5 o'clock, to have use of the pavilion and start getting set up, and also allow the public to come out at no charge to see what's going on. So they're paying for Saturday, all the fees or whatever, So they were asking that Friday night that they get a chance to come in and set up. We'll still get the fees for Friday for parking, all the parking spots and stuff. So the city is still be getting that. Also vendors, any vendors that start setting up early and stuff to be getting those fees. So it's basically just coming in that evening before the event Saturday. So parking, it was actually for that Friday for no cost, other than we get all the entry fee. Parking spots and stuff like that. So partner.
Right, well, I think, I think that it's a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
So,
Also, there's a,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a nonprofit organization that's putting on a community event at no charge. Now, the second night, there is a
Well, Saturday,
associated cost,
so they paid all the fees, just like the Blues.
but the first night it is not.
Right.
So I mean, for me, I would, this is the type of event, I think that we're diversifying our beach, our park, where, we're growing to where we've had symphonies, we've had blues fests, we have weddings, we have baptisms. Now we have, this event where we want to really work in showcasing it. I do think that support is the right word. I don't think that because, you know, having them to on Friday at no cost, that's a form of support from the city, where we're showing our support for the group. Partnering is a tricky word, more on the business side, or the business term, where if you're partners and you all know LLC or whatever, if they sue my partner,
Right,
then they can sue me.
right.
So it just, I think, relieves us of some liability. Mr. Attorney, you can.
Well, so as long as they've, and it looks like they've already submitted their fees, so I'm assuming they've submitted their application. And obviously, the city has an ordinance that deals with events like this, so that the city can ensure that they've got proper policing, they've got proper staffing, and proper cleanup, things of that nature, and that it's covered in the application fee or the permitting fee. And obviously, we require the event to have insurance, but the city also has its own insurance regardless. And so, yeah, whether it's support or whether the city is donating, you know, the time that they need to come in on Friday night to set up, I support that's, I think, sufficient.
So now that I understand, better, I mean,
What?
can we get this organization to, moving forward, present yourself more to the community by joining on after this year, on forward into the Juneteenth?
Well, we don't want to split here at this time. I think they're already active in the Juneteenth. So, and I'm gonna go to Commissioner Edwards next. So where it says, where could it say a resolution to support the sound and the sand event, as opposed to in the resolution?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to amend.
Motion to amend from
Where it
partnership to
says,
support.
therefore be it resolved that the city of Benton Harbor supports the sound and the sand event and approves the use of Gene Clark Pavilion the evening of July 28, 2023. So we would strike approves a partnership with
Support.
and supports the sound in its place.
Support.
Call for question.
Well, Commissioner Edwards, I don't want
Oh,
to muzzle the eye.
Thank you, Mayor, and to the chair, to the lawyer. I was thinking along that terms, what if we use the word collaboration? And the reason why I'm saying this is their second year and it's getting back bigger. Collaboration is more of a little stronger than partnership. Because if we want to collaborate, we want to do this every year that they do it. Partnership, I don't want to do it next year. Hey, partners, and support is good, but if we're saying that we're taking responsibility for the bills of that Friday collaboration, just an idea.
Call for question on support.
Support.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the next separated item, approval of 2 6-month extensions of the option on Project T site at 360 Agar Avenue and 807 Will Street, and a zoning change to plan development. The motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Adams, is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion? The chair recognizes the 4th Ward Commissioner, Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Okay, I got two questions through the chair. Okay, when was this resolution first, presented by Project T? Because I know it was voted on the beginning of it long before I took my seat. So that's one of my questions. Also, well, first of all, can anybody answer that, or city manager, whoever needs to answer?
So Project T was, the original project included a low-income component.
Right, but I'm asking when was it originally?
When I was
When
co-chair
was
of
it
economic.
came to you guys originally, the first time?
Can I,
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Sims.
thank you, Mayor, just a little bit of history on Project T. The reason why we went with this, was that at that point, there was no Habitat for Humanity in Benton Harbor because they fled the city because our taxes were so high and people were getting houses and losing houses. So a way to bring them back was to put them over to Mercy property and have several, or it was, I think it was 5 different components to it. One component was housing, one component was for kids who were homeless. The other was almost like a brownstone for senior families, seniors who did not want to leave their home. Another part was just the opportunity to provide duplexes or more housing in that site where there's no housing. Just a form of correction though, Honorable Mayor, that the resolution that we're speaking to, it should not be 360, it should be 960. 960, I'm sorry, 807. I'm sorry, 807 and 960.
Can I say, since I'm still.
So, Mayor, just with all due respect, the money came down and our planning economic development, director has been working diligently because money and funding is coming down for houses. So this grant is of the essence.
She wants to know when did we first vote? What was the first vote?
The first vote was 4 years ago.
4 years ago, okay, so my point. Okay, next, I know, since I've been in my seat, they came to us and asked for a 50 to 70 year tax break. That was last year, right? Okay, my next point is, okay, so now included in that was low income. Now, Mr. Little is saying that we're not gonna get the low income, right?
The state is saying,
Well, Mr. Little told us.
yes,
that it
that's
was
correct.
denied,
That's
okay?
correct. It was
That
denied.
the grant. Okay, my point is, it's been 4 years. So why did he just apply? Did we just hear that the state denied it? Why also were there no other funds seek to get the low income? Because it's been 4 years in the making. So even if that was, it's other options where we could have got the low income. And that was one of the most important, one of the big things, reason, I mean, for me, myself, that was one of the reasons that I was, happy with it. The fact that we was gonna get some low income housing, now it's not. So now it's not gonna be included. And now they're coming again, ask for a two 6 months extension. And we're not getting everything that was discussed or asked in its entirety. Because low income was one of the top things we asked for. So last but not least, I would like to protest this resolution.
So, I'm gonna just read the justification here. It says the project is somewhat changed as the low income tax credit funding was not approved for the one building. But the project will proceed with funding for 38 single family and duplex middle housing units, commercial space, and one multi-family 4-story unit with 39 residential units. So the state did not approve the low income on one. But there were high-level talks with our city manager and the assistant city manager at the Michigan Municipal League Conference, where we were told, and you can correct me, Mr. Mitchell, if I'm mistaken, that we should resubmit it. And that there's an eye on the project and why it was denied and why we should resubmit it the way it's being presented tonight. And there's a window of time to do so. So this is why, in talk with the Mayor Pro Tem, it went to public safety, time sensitive, but the Mayor Pro Tem signed off on it for it to be presented tonight.
Okay, well, I still have the floor. I'd like to protest the resolution.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Honorable Mayor, with all due respect, the key point is that, let's give the right information. There's just one building. The state, in constant conversation with the deputy city manager, has stated that we need to hurry up and resubmit the grant. He went to them personally and asked them, why was this denied, being that we fit every criteria better than anybody else? They said, hurry up and resubmit the grant. Now, if we want to act like we about development and getting all this stuff together, you have Snaggletooth housing all across the community. We are trying to literally add in that area up front at least 60 homes where people can get out of these old houses and go get to my house where they can stand. And we talk about livable conditions, this and that. Only one building got denied. So we're gonna hold up the whole process because one building got denied and they're telling us to come back to the table. I know y'all, if Fast, what's the name? I ain't gonna call it Fast, I can't think of the other name. If he came up there and told them let's do it, they're gonna get done. But what we need to do is make sure that we're doing what's right by these residents. This is a 4-year-old project. This has been going on for the longest. This started, let me go back with you. When we had the Whirlpool update, this was the same day. Resolutions, the Whirlpool development down here. We had the Wall Street development right down here that was supposed to go up, that they hamstrung because of the mental health portion. And we resubmitted also. And this project was the same day, saying we were gonna provide for our residents. Honorable Mayor, it would be heartbreaking if we don't do something to get our people better housing, better residential area, and also a stronger tax base, and also taxes. These people pay taxes. They're not living for free. And I ain't never heard of no 50 to 70 year tax break. That's the first I ever heard of 50 to 70 years. Tax, I have never heard of 50 to 70. I have never heard of a 50 to 70 year tax break. Thank God for that.
Chair recognizes third.
Thank you, Mayor.
Who would take?
Well, this was in my ward, and I've said this over and over and over, that it was pushed down my throat with no information. Their money was already there, so they said, we got it all good, we're gonna do what we do, no matter what you say or what the citizens say. We have not had a public hearing, not one time, to let my ward know what's going on, other than my personal contact with the people that is on that, in that area. Homeowners didn't like the fact that they were gonna put 3 stories and 4 stories on Wales Street. So yeah, I did call them, and I complained to the money people that it was wrong to set that up for us like that. And now they come back and I'm hearing that they said, reapply. Well, they didn't reapply, they broke the program down. Now instead of 10 single family homeowners, we got 19 duplexes that is probably gonna get rented out. That's the usual process. You buy it, stay in it, you rent one out, and you come back and you either sell it or you rent it. That's not what we want. We want homeowners. We want single-family homeowners where families can come together in a place called home. So I'm not into them pushing this project down my throat. And my citizens don't like it either. So here we come back with a lot of information about that they cannot produce. The idea that they were gonna bring a service in for foster children, I thought, oh my God, that's not gonna be good. Because usually these foster children come with big problems. So they said, well, we're gonna get a program in the building that's gonna service them. It was good with me. If you're gonna have somebody to give these young people everything they need to survive and grow, that was fine. But then that dropped out. So the project could not get a new chance in this because it's changed. Nothing's the same. And I am not into concentrating us in a little area like that. That's worse than Cabrini Green and anything else. Bus Avenue projects, Vineyard project.
A point of order.
So
Commissioner.
I am not
I
in,
do respect.
I'm saying this because it's true. And all of it is true. We're not gonna accept this. And if you do, I've already instructed my citizens that are homeowners that if they go against our wishes and our wills, then take them to court.
Why don't y'all sue AJ's?
Point of order.
So,
Point of order.
here I am, I'm just saying, I'm not in agreement to this. They come back and give us a better plan for the people, I'll accept it, because we do need houses, but we need homeowners.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mayor. With this particular project, I didn't love everything about the new submission that was presented. I would have preferred housing, but at the end of the day, we need more housing in our community. And the only other option is to do nothing. And I think the people of Benton Harbor have had enough of this commission and this city doing nothing because they dislike a project. The other alternative would have been to bring a solution. So if you disagree with something, bring an alternative to what you disagree with versus knocking everything down without an alternative. We cannot afford to do nothing in this community. The residents elected us to make decisions about important things. This is an important thing that needs to happen in the city, which the residents who elected each one of us elected us to do. And so if we're saying this is something that is beneficial to our community, which it is, we have people, young people that want to move back here, people living in St. Joe, living in Stevensville, living in Berrien Springs, living in Niles, living in South Bend, because they cannot find housing in the city. So we've lost residents because they have to move to those other communities and cannot stay in this community, and they can afford to. And so we need to bring those residents back who want to live a 5-minute walk, 5-minute drive, 10-minute drive from the beach, from the beautiful amenities that we have in this community. So we cannot afford not to do anything. And it's enough time. Some people have been here for 20 years and have done nothing. 20 years and done nothing. But complain about what we don't have and about the mindset of the people. It's time out for that. And we need to make a decision about this particular housing. Thank you.
So I would just add that the city of Benton Harbor needs more water customers. Because the city of Benton Harbor needs more water customers. We just see where our residents the census is 8,900 and something population. So when we bring in new housing, we increase our population. We also have more income tax payers that can help fund the infrastructure that we just saw is 76% over 50 years old. And what happens is, if we don't get more people paying in, more customers, more income, then the few have to bear the brunt. And the few can no longer sustain and maintain the city of Benton Harbor.
Right,
We have to bring in
right,
and make room at our assembly
right.
and bring in more people to share in the expense and the cost of rehabilitating, renovating, and rescuing and resurrecting the city of Benton Harbor. So it may not be a perfect development, but guess what? It's better than nothing. And what we knew that was sitting there is no longer. Mercy is not coming back. We watched that building rot and become an eyesore right in the third ward. I wish we had the same voices fighting in
Point of order,
to
Chair.
do something.
Point of order, Chair. Right here.
So I don't,
Point of order,
okay,
Chair.
okay, I'm gonna bring it back.
You can bring it back then.
But we're gonna move forward with a new $40 million, 30+ million, somewhere in there, which is jobs to add that. Because that's construction. And it's breathing life back into a third ward that sorely needs it. And now we do, I believe, have a representative here. If you could come forward and just, if there's no objection. And then I will.
You will what?
Please, share your name.
Yes, my name is Erin Hudson. I'm the Executive Director of Harbor Habitat for Humanity.
Please proceed.
Okay. I tried to jot down some of the issues that were raised. I'm going to answer them, but if I forgot anything, please remind me. Okay. So low income has not gone away. There's just not as much. That low income housing tax credits that we were trying to get for that building, that entire building would have been low income. But because we did not receive the funding, low income individuals and families will be spread throughout the other units. So they don't go away, there just aren't as many. The duplexes are homeowners. We can put it in the underwriting that they must be your main residence, that they cannot be rented. They are for homeowners. It'll be a condominium site so that each home is owned by that individual. They are not rentals. Let's see, youth aging out of foster care. I can only read with my readers, but I can't see you if I'm looking through them, so that's why I keep taking them off. But youth aging out of foster care, that was my baby. That is what initially drove me to this project. So nobody's heart is broken more than mine that we don't have the LIHTC funding, because we will not be able to serve as many youth aging out of foster care that we wanted to, but there will be availability in the other buildings. Let's see, meeting with your ward. We have not met with your ward because we don't know what we can do yet. If I had presented what we presented to you all several months ago, I'd have to now come back like we're doing now and tell them, sorry, we didn't get the funding. We're not going to do that. So we have to secure funding and we have to follow the dollars. There are missing middle funds that make it possible for us to build these 19 duplexes. So we will have 38 units of duplexes and another, I can't remember, 39 in the apartment building. So for a total of 77 housing units. And they will be for families ranging from 30% of the area median income to 120% of the area median income. Harbor Habitat works with individuals at the 30 to 80% area median income. So low income housing is still firmly a part of this program. Let's see. We have not received any funding. A comment was made that the money is there and it's being shoved down your throat. We have not received any funding. We need a letter from the city saying that accepting our planned unit development application so that we can show that we have access to the land to complete the application to secure the missing middle funding. Until we actually get that funding, we don't know what we can do. Once we get that funding, then we'll be able to say, okay, here's what we can do. And at that point, I would feel very comfortable going to your ward once this commission approves the site plan. Site plan hasn't even been approved yet. There are so many steps that we have to take before we start building. This is just to try to get the dollars. And then we're coming back to say, here's what we're planning. Is that okay? So I'm very concerned because it's taken us a very long time to get just this letter. So if I do get the funding, they give us a 90-day window to start building. I'm afraid we won't be able to meet the deadline because if it took us over 2 months to try to secure a letter to say that we have access to this land, I don't have very high hopes that we'll be able to get the other permissions that we need to actually fulfill the conditions of the grant. So there's nothing to share yet. If I go to your ward, I want to be confident that we can do what I say we can do. I don't want to have to go back. I figure that the commission understands that we have to make changes because of the funding. Normal everyday constituents may not be okay with that changing. So I want to make sure I can do what I say we're going to do before I go out and meet with the public.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Chair recognizes.
First time I-
Adams first, she had her hand in.
You said Commissioner Adams.
She had her hand up first.
I appreciate your help.
Afraid,
You're welcome.
but I'll wait. However long it takes, I'll wait.
Okay, for who has not spoken, I want to
You
recognize
looked at them.
Commissioner Adams. Could you please put the 3 minutes? Don't have-
No, you didn't give anybody else any minutes, and you will not put a time limit on me because I have something I need to say. And tonight I'm gonna say it. And I want to start off by apologizing. Apologizing for not fully understanding when I was co-chair of Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting when this project first came forward, when we thought about utilizing Mercy property for such a development. I get the fact of the duplexes. I get that. And it reminds me of when you're coming across the bridge from the courthouse, that little area down in there, they're like duplexes that are, we need to learn how to live amongst one another again. There's too much separation, too much snag-a-tooth housing within the community. My question to you would be, once we secure this funding, and see, I'm steadily learning how government works, and it's difficult securing funding because, and you have to have a plan, and plans are revisable once that money is secured. I get it. Would you be able to, though, with these type of fundings, be able to deal with some of the snag-a-tooth housing, even if it's in that area of the third ward? And not only that, it's the matter in which it seemed like there was a disrespect going on, and not on your part, but on our part, for not informing even me as a chair of the process. We were going through the master plan that had not even started yet. And shouldn't a plan like this be within the master plan? I mean, where does it all play a role? I mean, I'm trying to make it make sense in my mind so I can inform and educate my residents. of how this thing is working and how it's going to look. Because I really want to see something like the mayor did in the beginning, something big and conglomerate. You know, something that says Benton Harbor, we're on our way back. And it didn't consist of housing, but we need it. And as an elected official, I cannot say in one breath that we don't need low-income housing and then fighting and talking about the rest of my colleagues about low-income housing. Because we do need it. Because we're dealing with a poor, impoverished community, and we're going to always need it. Children coming out of foster care, I took those classes. I've dealt with disability, children on disability when they come of age. They need housing. And they also need services provided for them. And I'm glad that you stepped up to the plate, but just be transparent and let's just work together and do things in order amongst ourselves. And we can really get more done.
I appreciate those comments. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. If somebody told me one time, they said, wait, I broke the gates, and continue to wait, you know, won't nothing, you know, having an opportunity getting passed by. I heard her say that, you know, urging us to resubmit to, and that's basically saying, hey, get it in, you know, it's, you know, may be favorable to you. So, and thank you for making it a little more clear, you know, saying that you know, need to secure the funds, you know, first, you know. So I don't even think we should, you know, we all know the need, you know, and if we're sitting around waiting for a perfect, you know, situation, we'll be waiting for a long time, an opportunity to be passed by.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the Second Ward Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I see this as a very important move. Reason being, there's a stat that is not taken. And I heard mention about Cabrini Green. No, it ain't close. No. But I want to say this, saying that there is a stat that is not taken of how many people who live in houses such as Harbor Towers, who go to work every day, 4 years, saving their money, hoping that they can find an opportunity to buy a home. The reason why they are waiting here in Benton Harbor, because buying a home here in the shape and the condition that you want it, you don't want to go spend, say, $30,000, put in another 25, where it's comfortable for you. So with a deluxe, I'm in Harbor Towers, I got a family, I'm working, I want to get them out. I don't want to leave Benton Harbor, but I need that opportunity because I'm already listed as low income. Might not be, but I'm listed that because I live there. I think it's a great program. Be surprised how many people would move out of housing and become better tenants of the city. Because now I got my own water bill. I got my own light bill. And they are capable of paying it. So that's one that we don't look at those buildings and we don't look at people dressed like me. Thank you much.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
And let me just be clear. The resolution is to get 2 6-month extensions. This is already approved, the project T. So I don't know where people, you know, some colleagues saying not to do nothing and we don't need to stop. We never said this is a 2 6-month extension. It's not to stop the project. It's already in process. It was voted on long before I took my seat, and we voted on the tax. So I don't know where all this other stuff come from. That's what the resolution was. That's what it is. And I since she explained it better, I'm gonna withdraw my protest. But if I do a protest or anything, I expect it to be addressed by the chair. Thank you.
I appreciate your comment. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you again, to my constituents. I want to thank you, Ms. Hudson, for, just being here, because you didn't have to come tonight. I do appreciate Commissioner, Adams, because when we first approached Habitat for Humanity, you guys were building houses in Bridgman. I think y'all got houses.
Not yet, this summer.
This summer, building houses in Bridgman and trying to bring you back to the city of Benton Harbor. And we don't want to make it to anybody to look like that we're fighting development, we're fighting progress. I'm glad you articulated the way you did. I do believe that your office is open to any commissioner that calls you. And I know Mr. Little stated to me that he's called and tried to explain over and over and over the process of what is needed to get this done. I want to almost absolutely guarantee that you're going to stick to what you told us tonight. And I only got 1 minute and 50 seconds. But I want to commend you for even coming back to Benton Harbor. A graduate of Georgetown University, I believe it was. Wasn't that Georgetown?
Yes, sir.
Working for Microsoft, was it, or who? Microsoft, then coming back to work in Benton Harbor. And I commend you for that. There's not many graduates that have had the opportunity that you had to come back to Benton Harbor and make a difference. You should be commended for that and thanked for that and for all you do. I just want you to know from this body, from me, I don't know about everybody else, but I appreciate saying a young sister who came from Georgetown University, come back to Benton Harbor and help our city. Thank you so much.
The chairman wants to recognize Third Ward Commissioner and then Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. You did give me some very good information about the project, that you can put some stipulations in it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's just so pleasing me that leaves all sorts of doors and windows open for my residents. So that's the first time I heard of that was available too. Now, when I spoke of the project being pushed down my throat, it had nothing to do with you or your community. It had to do with our staff. Staff did it, and how they did it. They even put it in the master plan. Now, how do you put something that's changed in the master plan? It's in the master plan like you presented it. So I just have to go back to them 3 and 4 story buildings in that little short area. Because you have other people that own land on the side of there. And I'm just not happy about the concentration of us being in a place like that. So I'm not against the program. I know we need, so if we can't get single family homes, then, but some of that concentration, you really need to take another look at it. It might not look like Cabrini Green, but it surely has the possibility of being Cabrini Green.
Absolutely not.
So, no, you say it.
Absolutely not.
But that's what happens with buildings like across the street. It didn't start out like that. It became that. So low income ownership is a great thing, but I'm not into that 3-story in a residential area, 4-story in a residential area. So
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
I just got a question about the 50-year tax credit. I'm sorry, 50-year tax break or whatever that was spoken of. I don't think that was never
No.
mentioned that.
Not this project, no.
Not this
Not this
project.
project.
No.
Wasn't,
But the
that wasn't a
other-
50-year.
Never.
tax on this
We've
particular
never asked for
project.
that. No.
Just clarification.
Thank
because I
you.
didn't want-
I did want to
So
Thank
just-
you for
just
bringing that up.
Lastly, I want to thank you for what you, of course, you wasn't even on the agenda for a presentation, but I'm glad that you was, as a church, and they said in church, you was ready. And I'm excited about the project. As somebody said, I want to see something big and conglomerate, I think that word. But I've traveled. I just came back from Nashville. My daughter's in Tennessee State, and I see where the redevelopment of cities is taking on new types of developments in residential areas. I'm seeing coffee shops. I'm seeing bookstores. I'm seeing apartments. I'm seeing duplexes. I'm seeing single family. So it's like in this remaking of cities. It's a lot of creativity and innovation where it's not going to be that, Brady Bunch or that, 1 story, 2. It's going to take on different forms. So I just want to, before we vote, it said not tonight. I don't want to fuss and fight. I want to make it right.
Watch out now.
Ooh, there's work to do.
There's work to do.
That's the famous Mary J. Blige. So I'm gonna call for the question. That's the question.
So what you guys gonna do about the senior citizens?
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sims,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes,
Motion carried.
this brings us to the conclusion portion of our agenda, which is the staff reports. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For the enlightenment tonight as well. We'd like to recognize the Deputy Director of Public Safety, Deputy Clark.
We'll keep it quick. Just want to say thanks to everybody who came out last Wednesday to the Public Safety Committee. You'll see some more stuff coming down from all of those programs and the groups as we move towards the summer. And it was an enjoyable Blossom Time Festival this weekend with nothing bad coming out of it, so that's good. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, Cole.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the City Attorney.
DC Clark, can you explain what happened to the people that are here so that they know what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, which part?
The project that you talked about.
That's we're partnering with the churches, several churches, and community groups, and kind of bringing everybody together. There's several groups all doing individual things, and instead of having a bunch of little islands, we're gonna bring everybody together and essentially, unify us all in one island for the common goal of violence reduction, crime reduction, help people get ahead on with some educational programs and all that as well.
Thank you.
That's the Reader's Digest version.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the City Attorney.
Just quickly met with Adam Marsh today regarding the boardwalk on off Riverview Drive. We're looking at how we are going to enforce the repair and maintenance of that boardwalk because it looks like it's been dilapidated and in decay for many years. So we're working on that.
Thank you, it's terrible.
Chair recognizes City Clerk.
Going to be prepping for elections, August and November elections. We do have LMC millage on August, and then the primary for the commissioner at large seats. People will probably start seeing their information for their absentee ballots come in the next month or so. So make sure that if you get that application that you turn it back in, make sure you read it over and check the appropriate box, so that we can put you on the appropriate list for that.
Thank you. Chair recognizes City Manager. I believe.
That's all right.
It's so quiet over here.
I have nothing to report. Mayor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming today, and I'd like to address the accusations that were brought against me today. First of all, Mr. Hoyt, Michael Hoyt, he has a personal thing against me because I stopped associating with him about 2 years ago. So I expected that. And another thing is, Mr. Spencer Nesbitt got up and said some stuff. And let me go back. Michael
Point of
Hoyt.
order, Commissioner, you can't. You
Yes, I
can't.
can.
No, you cannot.
You better
You
learn the rules.
cannot. No,
Yes,
no,
I
no, no.
can.
You
Oh,
cannot
what
call
can
yes, I
people
can.
out. You cannot
In my room,
name
you better
names.
check them rules.
No, that is.
Okay, so the citizens that, it is in the rules, but I'll let you know. Well, another thing, with the citizen that made the accusation against me, he read number 4 in the policy and procedure, disorderly conduct. He read it like it addressed me, but if you read it, say disorderly conduct at meeting. Person addressing the commission shall make responsible comments, shall refrain from making personal and impotent, slandered, or profane remarks. Person addressing the commission, which was made, all was made at me today. So that was a violation. And the other citizen that was talking, saying stuff about me, he made personal attacks towards me. The one that said mayor friend. So as you see, that is not allowed. Also, the citizen that made a comment about Trent Bourne, what happened. He was not here. It happened in the chambers. Mr. Bourne threatened to choke me.
On the order.
Okay, so the citizen that he said that I said, he did his hand like he was choking. If he brought it out, then I can defend myself, right? He asked him for discipline, okay? He made a gesture like he was gonna choke me. He also said that he was gonna get me. He kept saying, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. I see my time going, so that's what happened. Okay, and also, who else did he say? Miss Audrey, she kept interrupting me, asked me, okay, I can't say, yeah, I know I can, it's in the rule. But anyway, she kept interrupting me. When you have the floor, you're not supposed to be interrupted. She kept interrupting me. That was that situation. Commissioner Edwards, can I say his name? Because he's my colleague. Okay. Last year, he was telling people that citizens was telling me that he said he was gonna get my son, and then if I get in and get
Point
me.
of order, we can't.
Well, no, it was made.
No.
Yes,
This is
it
not
was
the
made. No, he
appropriate
said
place.
that I
That's in
did
the
this
public
and that.
comment, but as
He
an
said I
elected
did that to
official,
him.
we cannot.
I
make
know y'all
attack
see,
or
okay,
talk
see,
about
here's the thing.
commissioners.
Here's the thing. So another colleague was, he threatened to whoop my ass, right?
Point of order, Commissioner.
He did.
Point of order.
That's a threat.
Point of order.
Oh, see, that's the
Point of
thing.
order.
You guys see what's the attack be always made on me, right? It's always made on me. But it don't nothing, when somebody make an attack on me, the chair does not say anything. All those other meetings when these situations had, if the chairs of those meetings would have did their job, then none of that would have happened. It's always attack on me by friends, colleagues, or some of the people up here and that does not like me. But the chair is supposed to say, stop it. But you see, he don't. But he stops me if I defend myself. And it's in the rule. And if this continue to happen, I will be filing charge with the Busman Office, the Ethics Committee, Federal Court, Discrimination Office, and Title VII. Thank you. Have a good night.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Well, I want to thank the residents for coming out tonight. And whatever it is that we talked about, whatever it is that we voted on, the best thing about it is the residents of Benton Harbor has got to know that they have the power. It is not in the power of me or 8 of us up here. It's in the power of the residents. So if you having a problem with what you see here, then I suggest you to organize yourself and come down and talk to your elected officials. Don't let it slide. We can put all we want to in the master plan, but it depends on what the residents need and want. Money is flowing. I just looked at another email today. Ben Harbor got another couple of $1 million for infrastructure and all sorts of things. But that, if you as residents don't stand up for yourself, what has happened in the past will continue to happen and leave you out like what's happened in the past left us out. And it came from 9 elected officials that left us out. So now if you don't hear me now, you stand together and come back in here and tell us what the people's will is. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. And I want to thank the residents for coming out, taking time out of your busy schedule to see how your local government is working for you or not, because sometimes it just doesn't. And sometimes it does. I just hold on to faith. Do the work that needs to be done. Try to do and be the elected servant that I want serving me if I was at home. Somebody just got my best interest in heart and making decisions to that effect. Yeah, but I don't always sit here, and I will not always sit here. But I actually love people. I love making decisions that better our lives. And I've done that ever since I've been down there. And it feels good to be a part of something that's growing. Because when I came back to Ben Harbor in 98, 99, it was tumbleweeds blowing in the street. I couldn't understand it. I'm like, I can't stay here. No. But my heart began to ache because nobody had anybody speaking up for them, making decisions for them. They sent me to come down here to find out what was going on, and I've been down here ever since. And it's not a bad thing. This is my home. And I think that the children behind us, we deserve better. And they claim that we dropped the ball, so it's our responsibility to pick it up and get to dribbling. I heard something tonight about water customers. If we would get our airport customers back with all this infrastructure money and our Kojic, both of those in the 4th Ward, we need our customers back. And I'm glad that our city engineer is still here because I fought our last city manager and about why can't we get our customers back? Emergency manager sold the just dismantled stuff. But those are some of our biggest customers. We need those water customers. And we need to be working on getting them back. So please, when you get the pen to the paper again and get the planning and stuff, get the planning on seeing how we can get our customers back. And I wish that somebody would take note of the dumping that has started on the beautiful stretch of the highway, going out towards the highway in the back of Kojic. That cannot start. We need cameras. Where are our cameras? There's still dumping going on, sand being stolen. Is there cameras at our beach? We should know who's moving what, who's dumping what. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Chair recognizes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good evening, everybody. This has been a fun and interesting night. I want to say this. So, and like what went on last week and whatever other times were mentioned, I was kind of like giving advice. You know, you should wear a suit and all that kind of stuff and go defend yourself and all that kind of stuff. That's crazy. That's nice. So I thought about it. I'm listening to everybody. I went back to when I thought about being a lawyer and I was taking up civics. And to this day, I always wondered, and I got a question. The justice lady has always a scale, and she always have a blindfold on. And it's always said that justice is blind. I know the meaning of that. I don't see who I'm justifying is guilty or not because I'm blind. But if justice is blind and justice has to go by what? Words. But if I take words to the courthouse where justice lives, hearsay is inadmissible. So I always put it in my head, what if we took the blindfold off of justice and had justice see as opposed to hear? So when there is, or whatever, justice can say, I seen it. You didn't tell me anything. I seen it. When you go to court, and hey, my brother said, automatic. Objection, Your Honor. There's a lawyer right there. Judge says, what's your objection? Hearsay. You totally agree. Hearsay, that is thrown out the court. Do you got anybody seen anything? Camera, newspaper people, live witnesses, were they there? No, they don't count. Bring me the ones in that scene. Okay, here they come. Then you get one in and you try to bash the witnesses. Well, that one was drunk. That one is on drugs. That one goes to church. I want witnesses. I don't want a blind lady in a robe with a scale and you don't even know who put it on there and she got a trusted voice. Think about what I'm saying. It sounds stupid on it. Think about it. You go to court and they're allowed to take hearsay. Now, I have 42 seconds. I'm gonna help you out with that hearsay, how to get rid of it. It is a law to attempt to disarm, destroy, assault any part of the government, property or person or document. It is an oath that I will defend all said foreign and domestic. Domestic means in the house. So if you're in my house, you break in, I got the right. This is the government. I'm government. Whether I'm drunk or not, I'm still government. It is against the law.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to thank all of the residents and our guests for coming out tonight, for every comment that was given on citizen comments and every thought that was spoken. Thank you all for those. I definitely appreciate those. Just wanted to talk about the things that we approved tonight, which was alleys and streets being repaired. We voted on housing. We voted on chamber upgrades and definitely things that will improve the quality of life for the residents in the city of Benton Harbor. Over the last 8 years sitting in this role, what I've learned is I've had to have very, very thick skin and a very forgiving and open heart, not to hold things, that I hate people, that I dislike them for their ideas or opinions or thoughts, Because once that happens, it's hard to come back from that. We see that in the news, we see that in political parties and different beliefs and affiliations. If you don't have thick skin and a forgiving heart, you hold those things and take them personal and project those feelings or emotions on somebody else. And in these roles, leaders are bridge builders. You have to be a bridge builder in this seat. People are going to talk about you. They're going to say all kinds of outrageous things. But the power of ignoring people is powerful, because you can ignore the chatter and continue to work and to get the things done. Because there are some amazing things happening in this community by members of this body and as a group. We are powerful as a group once we stand united around actions and things that we want to achieve. And housing is one of those things. We may disagree on a myriad of things, but there are some things that we agree on. And if we come around those things that we agree upon to get them done, it's powerful. And we'll see change happen in this community. We talk about black on black crime and things like that. We might not be shooting each other, but to use the words and the fierceness of those words towards other people, it's the same thing. We're just not shedding blood, but it's the same kind of attack. Words against people and saying things against people, it's the same thing. And so as leaders, we have to be bridge builders. We have to connect people to the things that's going to affect and change their life. They don't care anything about the little dramas and things that's happening. All they want to know is, how does that affect me? And how is that going to improve the quality of my life in the city of Benton Harbor? And in speaking to many of those residents, they want their roads cleaned up. We're going to argue. We need to argue about how we're going to get that done and what that looks like, making Public Works do their job, or whoever is not doing their job. Let's agree to get those things done versus all the other things, because people see that and they see us in this community as leaders, and many of them respect that. And so I love, as Commissioner Adams talked about, serving the community. There's multiple ways to skin a fish, and we all do that differently, and we all present differently to the people that we serve. And again, it's truly an honor to do that in the great city of Benton Harbor. I wouldn't live anyplace else. I've had the opportunities to, but I love my community. I love being able to drive 3 minutes from the beach or to ride my bike to Gene Clark Park. Wouldn't live anyplace else. So in serving our community, I would just say, let's agree to disagree, but let's unify around the things that we do agree upon, and let's continue to move the city of Benton Harbor forward. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. The chair recognizes Commissioner Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Your comments was heard, your voice was heard. More water projects, improvements. It's a good thing. We're getting there. You know, we started from the bottom. Now we on our way up, fixing the water, getting back to fresh water, strong pressure. You know, it takes time, but we a little bit at a time. You know, and since I've been here, I know we didn't spend millions on improvements to the water system and the water plant, the whole water infrastructure. Project T, moving forward, finally, you know, a place to stay, a place to call home, improvements to the city of Benton Harbor, something built from the ground up, you know, that's moving forward on that. You know, finally, you know, it took a while, but, you know, sometimes when it's good, it takes time to simmer and milk, get into it, you know. Parade was great. Parade to see everybody, y'all walking up and down the street, seeing everybody, you know, having a good time, bringing the community together, you know. Even Jerry with the after party, you know, the bands were jamming, you know, people jumping around. You know, we need that. Unity. Unity. And talking about unity, I'm the co-chair of the Unified Civic Monument Project. And you know, we have 2 monuments going up, one in P. Mitchell Park and one in St. Joe at the Arboretum. And we're going to be walking back and forth to the monument. And the monument, Martin Luther King is standing right here in Benton Harbor, and the St. Joe is like this. So we're trying to bring the community together with unity. So if you want to come and join us, walk if you can walk, ride your bike or whatever. May 21st, June 18th, July 16th, and August 20th, 3 to 5. We'll be walking from each destination. If you can't make it back, we'll have transportation to bring you back to Pete Mitchell Park. But this is big. This is big. This is big. This is real. And next, we're gonna have me and First Lady Muhammad been doing this since 16. Let's Soar, the kite flying event. We've been doing it for 16 years. That's it. 16 years we've been flying kites with the kids at the airport, which we own, I think 62%, man. 62%. Ben Harbor City own that airport. And it's great to get out, get the kids out there, we educate them, and just to see all the kites in the air, you know, just imagine, you know. Imagine it. But it's happened. It's been happening since 16. I do not believe we've been putting this on. We've been having a great time every year. So all we need, God bless us with that wind. You just can see and relax. The future of Ben Harbor. It's great. I love being right here. But thank you for listening. God bless you. You know, we all in this together. All in this together. Icy, God bless you.
Thank you, Commissioner Isom. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Citizens coming out, those who presented. Again, to people from Habitat, thank you for clearing up some things, making it clear, and commend you on the work that you're doing. You know, we think back to 2010, man, you know, the state that we was in, you know, broke down, said we didn't have nothing, said all the money was stolen and everything else. You know, nursery managers, you know, came in and had their little fun, you know. But look where we're at now, you know, I mean, we haven't got there, but we on our way. Yeah. Last 3 meetings, you know, there's several projects and initiatives has been, you know, passed that's gonna drastically affect, you know, the way things are moving at the rate of speed that things are going. You know, it's tough, you know, I mean, we vet, you know, we go at it back and forth, and, you know, I do, you know, pray for a little more, you know, civility, you know. These meetings are tough, you know, this last public safety committee meeting went 3 hours, unbelievable. 4 hours, you know. I don't usually let them go that long, it's too, but there was a lot of stuff on the agenda. The chief, public safety department did present for an hour, and that needed to be presented. There's some good things happening. You see more and more organizations and nonprofits, it's everyday citizens, you know, want to do their little part, you know. Even partnering up with the Benton Township, you know, law enforcement, you know, we didn't see that. And we know that we can't do this thing alone, you know, by ourselves. It's just too big, you know. And, you know, as somebody said, with the hand, you know, spread it out. You do something with the closed fist, everybody together, you can make a big impact. So, like I said, it comes with a lot of other issues, you know, sitting in this seat, but I've been there before, police officer, so I know. I referee games, you go make one side happy, one side sad, or one side mad, you know. You know, the name calling and stuff, I can take all that, you know, got thick skin, some clown them, even threatening, you know, saying I should be, you know, killed, you know. It just, you know, I mean, things that you have to take to you know, try to help your community. It's all worth it to me, you know. You can call me anything you want to, you know, as long as you just call me. So it don't matter, you know. You know, they don't feed me, you know. Don't depend on for air, you know. So go ahead. But my intent and purpose is to, you know, help this community, you know, and leave it, make some decisions and, that, when I'm gone, it's a lot better than when I left, so, when I found it, so. It's gonna take, all of us, and that's one of the things I enjoyed, Wednesday with the, presentation, of public safety. If we all can get that spirit, we can, I think the last thing I want to say is we use the old phrase that a whole lot can be done if nobody cares to get the credit. Let's get it done.
That's good. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I am elated to be here tonight. I'm grateful for the things that I've seen happen tonight. One thing that was part of the speech. I appreciate that, Clark. That's what we're gonna come in with. We need to stop saying, what are you gonna do? Or what is this body gonna do for the residents? Everything we do is for the residents. But we were coming down and not getting paid, no cell phones, still don't, we never had credit cards, nothing like this. And people say, what are you gonna do for the residents? The beat down that you take down here, people threatening you and talking about what they're gonna do and what they can do and all these other things. And then the nerve of some people get paid for doing everything they've done for the city of Ben Harbor, but never volunteer. Don't see them volunteer nowhere. Pay them maximum dollar to do small stuff. And yet still, we are the most generate, corrupt people, and then that nerd talk about, people, man, if you kill the people that's helping somebody, then who gonna help them? Why you shoot the pilot? If you just ride on the plane, why you gonna kill the pilot? Just ride. And if it get a little turbulent, you getting ready to go to the other side. The problem that we're having is what Abraham Lincoln said a long time ago. He said the test of any man's character or woman's character is to give them power. When people get power, they become different. You can be working with somebody, they'll be your neighbor one day, but once they become your manager, they change. Power has corrupted many people. I will tell you, we have to be so careful that we're doing it for the right reason. When the right reason is gone, then you're gone. I don't sit here for about 5 people to clap. I don't sit here for nobody to say amen for nothing. I'm not sitting here for somebody to pay my bills. I was paying my bills before I came down here. I had a leadership role before I came down here throughout life. So if this is your first time with leadership and you can't get along, it's about team building. One thing Ron Carter, I hate to bring that name, but I'll say it anyway. Ron Carter came and he was sitting up there. That's when the desk was high. And he had one pencil and he said, break this. Pass it around to every commissioner. We broke it. Then he put all the pencils together and said, now, if one of you break these pencils all together, I'll give you all the money I had in my pocket. Now, I didn't know how much money I had in his pocket. but couldn't nobody break those pencils together. What has happened, and I go back to when the emergency manager was in, I only got 40 seconds, I ain't gonna do like Mr. Singleton, Commissioner Singleton. It took our unity to get rid of the EFL. It took our unity to get rid of Joe and Tony. But as long as they seen us scattered, they played one against the other. They played one against the other. One thing Commissioner Mayor Hightower said to me on his way out, he said, they hate me now, and sooner or later they're about to hate you. And I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. They find commissioners that don't do what they think they should do. And they cast doubt and disparaging remarks against them, not even caring about their family, who they are, or nothing else. And some of these people that we follow got the worst history in the city of Ben Harbor ever. If we had a Al Capone tree or something, they'll fall right up under Al Capone. And yet we love them all. Come on, yeah, let's go. Let them tell us what to do. We got our mind. But that's the kind of stuff. That's how Jim Jones got it. All right, I'm sorry.
I want to thank all the residents for their participation tonight. I'd like to thank the council for your comments. People make the world go round. And it takes all different types to do so. Over the past 4 years, the city of Benton Harbor has had over 150 million in private and public investment. And in the next 4 years, we hope to have 500 million with our new master plan. Recognize Lee Reed and the great work that you all are doing. Where we will have housing, commercial, retail, development, education. We have a lot of work to do. And that development can serve as an example for other developments, because development begets development. I want to thank Commissioner Henderson for just highlighting what got done tonight. Because in between the fussing and or disagreements, $2,232,817 will go toward resurfacing local streets, alleys. 25% of that will go toward local minority participation. As you heard tonight in the public comment, Crystal Springs Cemetery will get much needed pavement improvements. Parking lot repaving at 200 East Main Street and City Center Park. We have great concerts, but we haven't upgraded the infrastructure. So that was approved tonight. We moved toward 28 million in infrastructure for water. With Governor Whitmer and the Democratic-led state and Senate have put hundreds of millions toward water infrastructure. And great news, we've been made aware that Benton Harbor area schools, $12.3 million will be forgiven. And that's the effort of the community. Special recognition to Eleanor Gavin. Hard effort and work to do that. But the other side of that is people came out and voted. Put Lori Andrews in office, who took the water and took it to the state legislature. Hopefully in a few days we'll get that big announcement. 99.7% of the lead service lines complete, only 14 left. 10 already scheduled. The part of that has not been put out. Those are steel lines. So the lead lines have been eliminated. So it's really a lot of great things that's going on, happening. Congratulations to those who were appointed tonight to volunteer. You know, voluntold and volunteer is two different things. When you just give your time, that should be respected and honored. And lastly, let's show some love. Life is short. Tomorrow is not promised. That's right. So if you don't have to give nobody a hug, but before you leave, tell somebody, give them an encouraging word. That's right. Because we need each other to move forward. With that being said, is there a
Motion to adjourn.
Motion was made by Commissioner Adams and is supported by Mayor Pro Tem C. Clerk.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isa?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem King?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Carried.
Tomorrow, I need to turn this in, I sit on.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.